So good evening. Welcome to the Florida Center for Inclusive Communities webinar series for 2021 through 2022. I welcome you all into this space this evening, and I am excited to share with you some information from Amazon Abilities. Live transcription has been enabled, so closed captioning is available. If you click it on your screen, if you don't see the buttons at the bottom, click the three dots and you should see the option for closed captioning and or live transcription. If you want to mute or unmute yourselves, because I have muted everyone, then you have that opportunity to do so. We will have a question and answer period later in the session. We're going to begin. I am Denise Barnes, and I am the Employment Coordinator for the Florida Centers for Inclusive Communities. And again, I welcome you all. And we're going to start with a video about what is FCIC.
The Florida Center for Inclusive Communities is a university center for excellence in developmental disabilities. It provides research, education. Inclusive Communities is a university center for excellence in developmental disabilities. It provides research, education, and service to increase meaningful community participation and offer resources that are current and relevant to you. We are making a difference together.
Hi, I'm Dr. Lisa Fox.
And I'm Dr. Don Kincaid, and we're the co-directors of the Florida Center for Inclusive Communities, the FCIC.
All our programs and projects here at FCIC are done with the ultimate aim of supporting people with disabilities and their families to make informed choices and decisions about their lives.
And to achieve inclusion and fully participate in society.
Without inclusion, our work is meaningless. Inclusion is what binds our work together so that we can develop evidence-based practices that can improve lives.
And FCIC's activities touch upon many aspects of life across the lifespan, from early childhood, social and emotional learning, school, finding a job, health and wellness, and promoting positive behavior support, which is our specialty.
Inclusive practices lead to inclusive communities where we all can contribute and learn from each other. But don't take our word for it. Let's hear from others.
The Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, a project with FCIC, hosts the Learning Academy, an employment transition program for young adults diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Participation in the program can make a meaningful difference in students' lives. Program graduate Gage Soso tells us his success story.
Being in the Learning Academy and FCIC has changed my life completely. Beforehand, I really didn't know what I wanted to do in life or where I was going or where I'd end up, and since then I've developed goals, and I believe that I have a future now that I did not have before, and I'm immensely grateful for that.
FCIC's Home Instruction for Parents of Preschool Youngsters, also known as HIPPY, is a home-based early intervention program that helps parents lay the foundation for their children's success in school. Jessica Harris, a participating parent, gives us her testimony.
What I love about HIPPY in general for every child is that it teaches parents how to be better parents and to talk to their children and to make everyday learning activities into experiences that will last a lifetime. So whether it's cooking together or playing a game or playing ball outside, you can turn it into an activity that is working on their whole development as a child. And that makes a better, stronger, happier child, and it makes a better, stronger, happier parent.
One of FCIC's objectives is to provide pre-service training for tomorrow's professionals through several academic programs, including a master's in child and adolescent behavioral health. Christine Hugh, a graduate, tells us how the program enhanced their skills as a human services specialist.
The program helped me reach my professional goals by helping me be a better provider. I'm always thinking about my clients. I'm always thinking of how to better support them. So for me, learning new information, learning from people who've been in the field for many years, seeing them as mentors, learning from my classmates, helped me be a better provider. That's always my goal, to be a better provider and support to my clients.
FCIC's Community Advisory Committee is made up of individuals with developmental disabilities, parents of people with disabilities, and representatives from agencies all across Florida. Arizona Jenkins, committee chair, explains the importance of self-advocacy and how community feedback guides FCIC's work.
It is a wide range of agencies, parents, doctors, and different advocacy people on the board. You want to learn how to become an advocate. You want to learn how to become a voice. Because your voice matters. You need to hear. We want to make sure that your voice is loud. Your voice is powerful. Because you have a story to tell, and we want to hear your story. We want to make sure that your voice is heard, because the more that your voice is heard, you give more power to someone else to tell their story. So that's why we do what we do here.
Please visit our website for more information about our programs, projects, and how you can get involved.
And with that, I am going to introduce our speakers from Amazon All Abilities and let them know ahead of time that they need to do a short bio, because with my screen view, I'm on a laptop today. I can't see the bios that are in the notes section. So feel free to just share with the audience anything that you want to share. So I want to introduce to you Brian Dickerson and Helen Candemio from Amazon.
Hello, my name is Brian Dickerson. I've been with since November of 2014.
Turn your volume up, Brian.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
It's very low.
Is this a little better?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Like I said, my name is Brian Dickerson. I've been with Amazon going on 6 and some change years since 2014. I started as a seasonal employee. From there, I went to what's called a seasonal position, which is a basically wintertime position, to a learning department, which helps train our new associates to come in and out of the building. Helps get them up to par to what the expectations are for Amazon. From there, I went to launch a driver training program. So the little vans that come to your house to drop off packages, probably trained a lot of those people who delivers them. And then I went to where I'm at now with workforce staffing. I've been with workforce staffing for about 2 years now. And I've been blessed to help be the lead in the Tampa, or the POC in the Tampa region, for our All Abilities program, or our PWD program. And let Helen introduce herself.
Thank you. And next we also have Helen Candemio.
Hi guys, I'm Helen. I've been with Amazon for close to 5 years now, and I've been in workforce staffing this entire time. I've probably hired over 50,000 people since the beginning, over 20, almost 30 buildings now. So we've just been working on getting folks opportunities at Amazon. And now we're reaching out to different organizations to help make some of those new hires be part of the disabled community. We're focusing on all abilities hiring.
Yes, and I was excited to hear about this program, not only because it's in one area, but it's across the state. So there are 4 managers, and we will share their contact information with you, but they are hiring individuals with disabilities in all areas of Amazon, and they are flexible based on their disability and based on the accommodations that they need. But I won't do all the talking. I will let them do it, and I will go to the next slide.
So as we did our introductions already, we just want to welcome y'all to this presentation. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to take part of it. You can go ahead and move to the next slide. So why Amazon? There's a million reasons to work at Amazon. Great benefits. There's programs to lift you up, to help build you up to different parts of the building or different careers if you want as well. Especially with our All Abilities program, which we'll talk about a little later. But right now, I'm just giving you a general view of what it's like to work at Amazon. Next slide. So like I said, multiple benefits depending on if you're full-time or part-time. Medical coverage, 401k investment with a 2% match, I believe. Am I right on that, Helen?
I think it's up to 4%.
Up to 4% match. I'm sorry.
And that's for everybody, seasonal, permanent, like anybody who comes through the door.
Exactly. Different time off options, which vary depending on part-time, full-time. You'll get, for instance, you'll get more time if you're full-time, less time if you're part-time, if that makes sense. And employee assistance programs that focus on different things like mental health. We're really big in mental health right now. I believe you have three free consultations with a mental health professional if that's something you want to take part of. And it's not only you, it's members in your family as well. That's something that Amazon started about a year and a half ago. Go ahead to the next slide. So how can Amazon help support your candidates looking for jobs? Different ways. When you come into hire event, or once you fill out an application and come to the hire event, we'll go over what that looks like in a future slide. But once you're done with your application and everything, once you come to a new hire event, you can talk to us and let us know, hey, I was really hoping to go closer to this area, and then we can partner with you. Like Denise told you guys earlier, we're all over Florida. For instance, if you were looking for something more in Polk County area or Orlando area, I can partner with Helen to try and make that work, and vice versa. Next slide. Helen, you want to talk about some things here?
Sure. So part of our job as staffing coordinators is reaching out to the community. We call it community engagement. So we want to reach out to organizations like yours to see how we can partner and get our brand out there, communicate about opportunities with us. A lot of times we will host information sessions. Sometimes we do it on our own and just communicate out to Eventbrite or our partners to see if anybody wants to jump on. We participate in different job fairs just to get the word out about jobs here at Amazon, and we can conduct workshops. Sometimes we will host sessions where we kind of give you an idea of what it's like to interview at Amazon or build your resume. Next slide. We also like to tell folks about opportunities at Amazon, not just the entry level that we have, but we want you to grow. One of our leadership principles is hire and develop the best. So there's a lot of different programs where we can start to upskill folks in different areas. If they've been with us a certain amount of times, there's different programs that they can participate in. And if they're like, say, military, there's a whole slew other opportunities to grow at Amazon too.
Before you get off that slide, Helen, I just want to add to that. With me coming in as a seasonal tier 1 associate, which is entry level, to coming to now a L4, it was an experience, and it was great that I had resume classes to help me with that, interview classes. I have cohorts who went to CDL classes to help drive trucks with Amazon. I have other cohorts who took part in medical, I think it's LPN training, and then left Amazon to do that. Amazon has a lot of upskill programs that you could take part in and we partner with different schools like HCC and other schools in the area to help drive these programs as well. You can take it over again. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you can go to the next slide for us. All right, so what we were kind of talking about was career choice, where there's a couple of programs that you can participate in where you can learn those additional skills in different fields. So Amazon realizes, warehouse isn't for everybody and it isn't always forever, even though we would like it to be, but we want to develop our employees as much as we can. So Brian was talking about like CDL classes and medical assisting. There's a couple other different categories. Under the career skills category, they have like little classes inside the warehouse for associates that are interested in learning a little bit more. Technical skills or like Excel, definitely resume building is really big. Anything that would help them boost their career with us, like as an internal candidate, we would host sessions for that. And then there's other programs like to learn technology skills. So a lot of times those more entry-level IT roles are filled by folks who work their way up into that area. So they start as a tier 1 or maybe a seasonal like Brian did, and then work their way up, and then they get introduced into the IT world through that program. You want to take over safety, Brian?
Sure, there's a lot of things going on right now with safety, and with this whole COVID thing re-emerging and the Delta variant, Amazon is really serious with the safety of our associates. As you can see here, we practice social distancing, check temperatures when you come in the building. We've asked our associates to wear masks, and we wear masks because before we had it where if you were vaccinated, you didn't need to wear masks. But per CDC guidelines, being inside a warehouse, we're re-providing the masks again. We also do provide gloves, have really deep cleaning with a third-party company that's in the building all day, every day, and disinfecting and super deep cleaning when a COVID case is found out. Next slide. So the type of buildings Amazon has, they're not all huge million square feet buildings, right? We have fulfillment centers, which are the really big buildings you might see from the highway. We have delivery stations, which can be anywhere. They could be right down the block from you, and sometimes you wouldn't even know it. Sortation centers, we don't have any in Tampa, but in Helen's area, in the Orlando area, she has multiple, I'm guessing, 1 or 2, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we have 2 sort centers in Central Florida.
And we have Prime now, which mainly deals with the food portion. So like Whole Foods and fresh foods from Amazon, the things you get like within 2 hours. Next slide. So Fresh, that's Amazon's version of a grocery store or Instacart. With that, it's a warehouse that houses food, right? There's freezer sections, there's refrigerated areas, all kind of areas in there where we get you your food order, hopefully in less than 2 hours. Delivery services, those are part of our delivery stations. Once again, those are those navy blue vans or trucks you might see coming through your neighborhood delivering packages. We call them the last mile because they're the last people to touch packages before it gets to the customer. Whole Foods Market, very similar to our Fresh department, where you'll order something from Whole Foods. Our workers work directly in Whole Foods. You might think they're customers. If you've ever been in Walmart and saw the Walmart associates shopping for customers, it's exactly what it is for Whole Foods, only it's Amazon. And Amazon Air. Amazon Air is how we get Prime to our less populated areas, if you will. Before, I know, for instance, there was a place in Minnesota. It's called Rema, Minnesota. They only have 300 people. They didn't have Prime. But because of Amazon Air, we're able to ship things from the airport, from our local airport in Lakeland or different airports that we have throughout the state, get it to a local Minnesota airport, to a delivery station. They're able to take part in Prime now, where they weren't before. They have the same experience as someone who's located in a big city. Next slide, please. So with our fulfillment centers, like I said, those are the building where most of our products are held. I'd say about 95% of our products are held in fulfillment centers. It's very big. It's a very physical job. You will sweat. And like I said, when I was working as a tier 1, I was putting in at least 10 miles a day walking back and forth through that warehouse easily.
Depending on the type of building, the walking, can vary.
Yes, it varies. What with this building, it's the more physical part because this is the heartbeat of Amazon, if you will. This is where most of the products come from. Next slide, please. You want to talk a little bit about sortation centers now?
Sure. Sort centers are part of like the middle mile. It's where the packages go to get sorted by zip code. Anything local will get routed to a local delivery station. Anything that is further away will get sent on a truck to the next town or wherever it needs to go. Everything's already boxed up in this building. Associates will basically just be moving packages throughout the building through conveyors and pallets. Even though we say that it's very physical, it can be. There's roles inside each of the buildings that have opportunities to be less physical. And also, we always like to remind folks that come through our process that it is with or without reasonable accommodation. So we really want to focus on the accommodations process, especially for folks who may have disabilities. We want to make sure that we can cater to their needs as they're coming through and be successful at Amazon.
Absolutely.
All right, next slide. So delivery stations, these are the buildings that are all over. We have more delivery stations than any other building, and it's probably one of our fastest growing lines of business. This is where the cars and the vans get loaded up out for delivery. So everything's already boxed up already, and the associates are literally just moving boxes from point A to point B. And then a delivery service provider, either like a third party organization, will deliver the packages, or a flex driver, it's like a independent contractor using their own car, will drive the packages out. The delivery drivers are not Amazon employees for the most part, but the folks in the warehouse are. All right. Prime Now, Brian mentioned that it is like a warehouse full of groceries or commonly ordered items. People are walking down the aisles, picking items and putting them into the grocery bags like you see in the photo there. And then one of those flex drivers will pick it up and deliver it to you very quickly. And then Fresh is like another Amazon grocery store.
It's very similar to the last slide before that, where they're working in the warehouse. The only difference is they're dealing with like more fresh food type of items, and they have refrigerated areas and frozen areas as well.
Yeah. So if you can grocery shop, you can do that. You can do Fresh, you can Prime Now, you can do Whole Foods, because that's basically what you're doing. You're grocery shopping for people and someone's going to deliver it to your house. Okay. Next slide. Then delivery, if anyone had an interest in delivering packages, you could either start your own delivery service provider company, or you could work through them directly. Like I mentioned, they're not Amazon employees, but it is an option there. Amazon's Air is really cool. Brian kind of talked about it already. I had the opportunity to actually tour our Amazon Air facility in Lakeland today, and was blown away with some of the technology that they have in the buildings, the robots, and how they get packages from one place to another. It's so cool. All right, so this is what's really important for us, our hiring process. So we have a lot of different buildings. We have lots of different shift types, flexible schedules, set schedules, seasonal, part-time, full-time, a little bit of everything. The buildings decide what type of hires they want to, post for, but the process is pretty simple, and it's a little bit unique to Amazon, as everything is self-service up until the point that you get to our hiring event. The application is 100% online. So if somebody's not technically savvy, that might be a barrier, but I know a lot of folks might have job coaches or someone to help them get through the process, and that's perfectly okay. Part of the application is selecting the shift that they want to work. So we show the candidates exactly what we're hiring for, every week. So like Friday nights into Saturday mornings, jobs get posted online. And as you're filling out the application, you have the choice of your shifts. You'll see everything that's available. You'll see the days, the times, the hours, the location, and hopefully you select the shift that is best for you. After picking a shift, you will select your appointment to come see us at office hours. We call it a new hire event. That's what our teams do on a day-to-day basis. We get people through the hiring process. So they'll come in for about 20, 30 minutes, get their documents processed, like for the I-9, we'll take a badge photo if needed, answer any questions about the job or details, anything that they need to know before getting hired. And then they will take an oral drug test. And as of a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two now, Brian, I think we no longer test for THC. If there's any issues with medical conditions or prescription drugs that they might be on, the medical review officer will reach out to them for more information. The Amazon staffing team will not take any personal medical information from any candidate at a hiring event. After the event is over, folks go home, wait for those emails to confirm their day one, complete new hire orientation online, which is paid time for them to watch about 3 to 4 hours of videos at home before their day one. And they're going to be filling out paperwork prior to day one for direct deposit, tax forms, signing off on Amazon policies, and then they show up for their first day. Brian, do you want to add anything on that?
So this week we're actually in Tampa, we're launching a program where everything will be done from the hub where you've done your application. So let's say your candidate did their application, they're wondering where they stand, everything is right there. So you just click, open your profile, it'll say, hey, your background check came in, hey, your drug test came in, hey, we need you to do this, hey, we need you to do this. Everything is, like she said, like Helen said earlier, is very self-service. And once everything is complete on there, you'll receive a email letting you know that, hey, welcome to Amazon, and that's when you officially have the job from that point.
Yeah.
And one of the big things that we ask for our PWDs is to self-identify. That is one of the most important steps in the application process for them. That we can't by any means force them to, if they're not comfortable to self-identify, but it will help in the long run.
It's strongly encouraged.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to asking for accommodations, the more we have in advance, the easier it is for them to get the accommodations that they need. We try to put in requests prior to their start date so we have everything ready. Like for example, we have a blind associate that came through the hiring process, and it took us some time to get him everything that he needed to be successful at work. But the more time in advance we have to prepare, the less time that they might spend on a leave of absence, because in some situations they come to their day one, we're not 100% ready for them to start working. So they will do what they can on that first day. They will get sent home on a leave of absence, so it doesn't count against their time off options or anything. And then once we have like all the equipment that we need and all the safety precautions in place, then they can come back to continue training. But yeah, self-identification is also not visible to the staffing team. Nobody gets to know about it. So if maybe there's a visible disability or an invisible disability, it's still important to self-identify. So if anything happened down the road, we could still provide those accommodations.
So what are Amazon jobs like? Like I said earlier, they can be physical, but like Helen also pointed out, there are different parts of the warehouse where it's less physical than others. For instance, I was a water spider. That's one of the most physical things you can do in a warehouse. But for our PWDs, there are different roles throughout the warehouse that they can do, from pack singles, from helping unclog jams in the conveyors, things of that nature. There's different things depending on the accommodation that you're asking for as the PWD. It's a very relaxed dress code. Most of the days I wore t-shirts, athletic shorts, and athletic sneakers. They do ask for you to be able to lift up to 49 pounds with or without reasonable accommodation. You will be on your feet for most of the day in this role. If you're at one of our part-time facilities, you can look to be on your feet for 4 to 5 hours. If you do choose a fulfillment center full-time role, you will be on your feet for about 10 hours, depending on the accommodation you ask for. And in some roles, you may be asked to operate pick. Not every building has this. For instance, our delivery stations do not have this. Our fresh facilities do not have this. This is mainly a fulfillment center obligation. Next slide. So typical shift schedules. Our part-time schedules are normally 4 to 5 days, 4 to 5 hours a day. Full-time is 4 days, 10-hour shifts. And both of those have mandatory overtime or voluntary overtime, which means exactly what it sounds like. Hey, we're having a huge push. It's back to school season. We need mandatory overtime for another day. Or hey, if you guys want to work an extra day, get a little extra in your paycheck, go ahead and apply for VET, which is voluntary overtime. And that's what a lot of our buildings try to push, is the voluntary side of it more so than the mandatory side. Full-time shifts, like I said, are 4 to 5 days, 10 hours. Our flex schedules are really popular with our PWD program because it is a pick your own schedule situation. So if you choose flex part-time, you're only accountable to work, I believe, 20 hours in a 30-day period.
Yeah.
And
So typically for a flexible role, they'll be expected to work like 15 to 24 hours per week, depending on what they select. But as long as they meet the minimum monthly requirements, they stay employed. So if they had something going on like school or appointments, they just don't pick shifts during those times to accommodate their personal lives as well. Flex is also great for anybody who might also be on SSI, so they can keep their benefits and still get paid for their part-time job.
So that's the one that's really popular with PWDs in my area, especially because a lot of our potential candidates are worried about their SSI. So like Helen said, they'll work 15 hours a week or maybe 10 hours a week if that's what they choose. And they're still within that that span of keeping active in the Amazon system. Go ahead to the next slide. And school accommodations, I know a lot of people who went through this through our FC and Ruskin. Basically, Amazon will cover. Oh no, this is about the accommodations. I apologize. So if you're going to school, Amazon does help you with that. They do have school accommodations. What that means is they'll accommodate you to work. I believe it's 30 hours a week instead of 40 hours a week. So they'll give you that extra day off if you need it. To be able to work, to be able to have that work-school balance. Next slide. And basically, we went over everything as far as the delivery stations, what kind of buildings we have, what kind of shifts we have, the application process. And now we're going to get a little more into the all abilities, I believe, part of our presentation. If you want to go to the next slide. Next slide. Ellie, you want to talk a little bit about your experience with all abilities?
Sure. So All Abilities is our initiative to get more folks from the disabled community. I don't know a better way to say it. Interested in Amazon working for us. A lot of people may not think of warehouse as the first place that they would want to work, especially if they had a disability. But we just want to make it known that we are open and able to accommodate folks with different types of abilities. That's why we're calling it All Abilities. There's nobody going to be excluded pretty much. Our accommodations team is top notch. They really find something for everybody to do on the rare occasion that they can't. You know, it's unfortunate, but we do our best to really make sure that folks who want to work for us have that opportunity to learn something about the warehouse. And also Amazon is a huge name to put on your resume that you worked for us. But we want to develop relationships with folks in the community and get the interest out there and honestly boost our numbers for those disability hires. I mean, we are below where we'd like to be, and we want to reach out to you guys for assistance to at least get the word out that, one, we're hiring almost all the time, and two, we want to hire folks with disabilities or different abilities. We want to always be, top of the mind, employer of choice. That's one of our leadership principles now, and I kind of take that one to heart because I drank the Kool-Aid a long time ago. I've been here for almost 5 years, and I want to share the Kool-Aid with everybody else. Anything to add, Brian?
So yeah, just basically what Helen was saying, where our goal is to match the 7%. That is the national average for, or the national goal to employ our PWDs or person with disabilities. Right now our goal is at 5%, but we want to push it to that 7%.
Yeah.
Just let, and like Helen said, just let everybody know that we're here. We're willing to match any accommodation that is given to us within reason. What's the word I'm looking for? With reasonable accommodation, something along those lines. Sorry, my brain is fried right now. But yes, we're just out trying to put our name in the neighborhood. Like Denise said earlier, we're all over Florida, and at the end of the presentation, you'll see slides of who's the POC for each part of Florida. Next slide.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of different accommodations that can be met. For instance, Helen was telling me about a building where for one of our blind associates, they have what's called tactile tape that they use to come in the building, find their station, find the bathroom, and so on and so forth. With our low vision associates, I know we have screens that we put on our computers to make the words, make the letters, and make the screen appear bigger, as well as different braille options and things of that nature. Helen, you wanted to add anything to that?
Yeah, so we have several people with disabilities already working in the building. I'm not sure if Denise is able to click that image in the thing to show the video, but locally we have deaf associates, associates in wheelchairs, associates missing limbs, and then we have blind and low vision. A member of my own team is a low vision associate. She started off like Brian, a seasonal associate, and worked her way up. So there's success stories everywhere. Everyone is welcome at Amazon, and sometimes all you need is like a magnifying screen to be successful, and sometimes it's a whistle so people can know that you're around. But large or small, we can do it. Our blind associate has a special device that will read and see for him and talk into his ear so he knows exactly what to do.
I'm unable to click the link on this video, so if either of you want to share your screen, your co-host, you can pull this up.
Okay.
And it'll pause mine automatically.
See.
While Helen's looking to see if she can find that video, there's many other things we're doing in certain states. We have whole warehouses that are built to train our PWD community, which I was just talking to one of our national representatives about. In Ruskin, I think they're trying to launch a program for wheelchair associates where they don't move their wheelchair in their workspace. A machine will help move them from workspace to workspace to get the job done, so they're not mixing all that energy moving with their arms, moving the wheelchair physically themselves. But any accommodation you could probably think of, Amazon will try their best to match with that. And if Helen cannot find this video, the gentleman that you see with the bandana, he was an electrician. He was working up on the wires, electrocuted himself, and lost both of his arms, unfortunately. So Amazon, he came to Amazon to try and get a position. We had a program to one of those buildings where we train our PWD communities. He went there, was one of the better performers, moved right to the building, and he's one of the better performers in the building on shift doc. To spoil it, if Helen can't find it.
I got the video. I think we can play it if I can share my screen. Let me see.
Is it not working? Oh, there you go. You have to pause it or stop it and start it again, and make sure you click share computer sound. The Zoom room share screen.
On the Zoom screen, no. Not the PowerPoint.
So Helen, hit stop share. Then when you hit share screen again, you'll see over in the bottom right, it says share computer sound. Click that button. And then hit the green share screen button again.
Be in my shoes and get that taken away. People take a lot of things for granted in life. They hate their job or they don't like to work. Be in my shoes and get that taken away.
There's a stigma that individuals with disabilities don't want to work, but that's not the case at all.
I was a professional painter. I bumped into a power line and I got electrocuted. I had to have both of my hands amputated and skin grafts on my back. The whole time I'm in the hospital, I'm thinking, what am I gonna do?
He was just looking for a chance.
It was this job is when I started feeling better about everything, about life.
The Amazon Workforce Supplier Program partners with nonprofits to place individuals with disabilities at Amazon. We will do a simulation with that person to make sure that a position is the right fit for them.
To have that simulator before you do the job, that was key right there. And they said I ended up being one of the best workers that ever came through their program. I didn't get treated like I had a disability, and that's what I wanted. Went from seasonal worker to a full-time worker. Amazon's in my future. I wanted my kids to see I still get up every day, I go to work, do it the best I can.
You give a man a chance and he'll show you that he can do it.
Can you take over again, Denise?
Did you hear that? I wasn't sure.
I heard it.
Yes, we heard it.
Okay, perfect. And that's just one example of one of many success stories that we have here at Amazon. All right.
So how do you request a medical accommodation or accommodation in general? You can go to amazon.com/allabilities. I'm sorry that website is not all the way correct. We've changed it recently. That should still work, but our new website is amazon.com/allabilities. Or when you get through the application process and you come to our what we call new hire event, just let us know, hey, I need this accommodation or I need this accommodation, and we'll put in a ticket for you right away. So we're prepared for when your start date is. For instance, I had a young lady who needed their dog with them, their service dog with them, and our building did not know what to do with that. So luckily the accommodation was put in so they could prepare for it and reach out to other buildings who may have had that experience before. So that's the main way to put in for your accommodations.
Yeah,
So
and let me add on to that a little bit.
let us know what you need and we'll try to match it as best we can. Next slide.
Can I jump on to the accommodation thing real quick? Not only is there just like a basic entry level accommodations team to like to kind of process your requests, but if anything needs to get escalated, there are teams like centers of excellence for like the blind community and also for the deaf or hard of hearing community. They have teams specialized to find special accommodations for them that they may not think of on that kind of entry level of the accommodations team, there's ways to escalate and get different services.
So our affinity networks, Amazon has different, what's the word I'm looking for, groups within Amazon.
Yeah, like a club.
Like fraternities, but yeah, like clubs. So
Yeah.
we have our warriors with Amazon. That's for our military personnel. The second one that you see is PWD, our Amazon Persons with Disabilities. We have Latinos at Amazon, our BIN network, which I'm a part of, and many different ones for anything you can think of. And people make their own if they get enough generation. Boom, we just created a new affinity network. So that's the information for that. Next page.
Yeah. I'm actually in the process of starting up the PWD affinity group for Central Florida because it's not already established. I'm just working on getting a couple of board members and then we'll get off the ground really soon.
So like we talked about earlier, we have we touch all of Florida. For our Jacksonville, North Florida area, we have Karen Valentin. I've worked with her personally. She's very happy-go-lucky, if you will. So she's a great personality to work with. And next slide. MCO node, you have.
That's me.
Handle most of Central Florida.
Yeah, we have a pretty wide area. We go from Lakeland to Daytona out into Ocala, and then we're growing onto the East Coast, Cocoa and Melbourne by early next year. So if that's your area, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you or answer any questions.
And then you have me, I'm the POC for the Metro Tampa area. So anything in the Bay, be it St. Petersburg, Tampa proper, Ruskin, everything you see on that map is what I'm the POC for. Next slide. So our FLL node, that's Fort Lauderdale, Fort Myers, Naples area. That is going to be Stephen Miller and Nicole Milliner, and Nicole Leto. Next slide. And Miami node is the Miami area pretty much. If you're in Miami, you're gonna
yeah, they're special. We didn't get a map, but they cover pretty much Miami-Dade metro area.
You're gonna reach out to Damien or Chantal, I believe her name was. You want to talk about this one?
Sure. So this is a flyer that we typically share with all of our partners. It has our text code. If anyone's interested in getting job alerts from us, you can text all abilities to 77088. Well, this is shareable with community partners, and we try to share it with potential candidates as well. We do track to see how many people are signing up for our job alerts through these text codes. The middle box is the accommodations website. This is where they can get more information about our accommodations process and actually place an accommodation request, especially helpful if they are coming through the hiring process for the first time and they need something. So if, say, a deaf candidate needed an interpreter, they can put in the request at the beginning and not have us scramble to get the virtual one set up for them when they come through the event. Whether they request it or not, we can get an interpreter for them. A lot of our sites, well, at least in my area, we have on-site interpreters, and if they're not available, we can do a virtual. We have a system called Chime. We can talk to them, and we also use P3 or Purple for interpreting virtually. And then the last one is just another landing page with more information about our All Abilities hiring initiatives.
And I put the flyer, this flyer is in the chat box so you can download it.
Excellent.
And it'll also be emailed to all those who attended today.
Yes.
So this is the portion where we're gonna open up for questions you may have. Just feel free to shoot or raise your hand in the chat and we'll get right to you.
Yeah, so if you have a question for them, either put it into the chat or raise your hand and I will call you, and then you can unmute yourself one at a time to raise your questions. While you are all thinking about questions, or if you have questions, I just want to let you guys know I asked a lot of extensive questions before I agreed to do this webinar with Amazon All Abilities. And they talked about the fact that if a person had a personal assistant or one-on-one staff, that would not be an issue for them to have them come to work with them as long as the accommodations requests were put into place. And some individuals can work as little as 3 hours a week and work their way up, because we know that some individuals with disabilities need to build their stamina to work part-time and or full-time. And so I was excited to hear that they wanted to increase the employment rate for persons with disabilities up to 7% in the state. And I felt that you guys would be a great audience to share that with first and foremost, because you have individuals all over the state who are looking to work, and there are different types of jobs that they may be able to fit into in within the auspice of Amazon. And so I wanted to make sure you guys got this information. One of the questions that's in the chat is, do you guys have any numbers of what percentage of disabled employees or have intellectual or developmental disabilities?
I don't think we get to differentiate what type of disability somebody might have. We just keep track of if somebody had self-identified as having a disability. So that could be mental health, a developmental, physical, any of that.
Okay. Where is your facility in Pinellas County, and what type of facility is it?
So in Pinellas County, we have mainly delivery stations or Whole Foods. At Whole Foods, I'm sorry, my brain is not
okay. And we have,
but the delivery stations are located right off of Gandy Bridge, about 11 minutes close to US 19. We have HTP1, which is our heavy facility, and we have GTP2, which is our normal facility for delivery stations. And about 15 minutes away from there, we have DFMA. So we have about 4 or 5 delivery stations and 1 Whole Foods.
okay. And someone asked, are you in Stuart, Fort Pierce, or Vero Beach area?
Yes, the FLL node, Stephen
Okay.
Milliner would be the contact for that one. I don't know exactly what sites that they have, but Stephen, you're going to share the contact information, right, Denise?
Yes.
Yes, so he would be the one, FLL node.
Yes, you will all get a copy of a PDF of the PowerPoint. And Magda says she's a job coach and she has a client who is interested in a remote-based position, such as an instructional designer with Amazon. They're located in Boca Raton, Florida, and her client is in Coral Springs. Should she reach out to the Fort Lauderdale staff to get her resume in front of them?
So anything that's not one of the warehouse roles, our teams would not hire for them. They would be at the mercy of an actual recruiter for Amazon, and they would be located wherever they happen to live. It's all virtual there. We don't hire for virtual roles. We don't hire for customer service. We don't hire the drivers, just actual inside the warehouse or like a Whole Foods location, like entry-level hourly roles. That's all we assist with.
So if someone comes in an entry-level hourly role, could they potentially transfer to an instructional designer with Amazon?
They would have to apply and get through the interview process. So anything that's a higher level role, they'd be expected to have a stellar resume, experience in the field most likely, or at least be able to speak to how their skills would translate into that new role that they're trying to apply for. And I will tell you, the interview process is killer.
And they would have to be in their role that they got hired for at least 60 to 90 days.
And
hired for a higher position.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of our last questions is, hold on. Another question came in and bumped it. Hold on. Does taking advantage of the in-house trainings help you move up within Amazon?
I can speak to this because I actually took some of the trainings. It's not necessarily to help you move up. If you're interested in a certain role, like I wanted to be facilities manager, so I took facilities classes, but then I realized, you know what, operations really isn't for me. Let me really try the support role side of it. So it's really just helping beef up your resume and be more competitive in that what you want to go for.
Okay. And Sherry Ann asked, how can we find out what type of positions are available at the different locations?
So myself, what I'm trying to start doing right now is, if you partner with me, I'm trying to every week or every 2 weeks send out a newsletter. I might steal one of Helen's ideas and host a chat room every week to let people know what we're doing. And Helen, what about what you're doing in your area?
Okay.
I'm going to share our application pages here. For me personally, Amazon.com/Orlando hourly jobs or Amazon.com/Central Florida hourly jobs is where somebody can apply. I do send out weekly hiring updates to my community partners that are interested in receiving the news of where we're hiring for the following week. So on Thursdays, we get on labor calls with all of our buildings that they tell us what they're looking to hire for. Fridays, they're supposed to confirm and lock those labor orders. And then Friday nights into Saturday is when the jobs get posted. So I try to send out my hiring updates on Friday afternoons so that my partners can reach out to their interested in clients so they have first dibs at those shifts that become available.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And to share with our speakers, can you guys type into the chat what area you're viewing us from? Or what city you're viewing us from?
Oh, this.
We have Miami, Jacksonville, Ellington, Stuart, Boca, Tampa, Orlando, another
All right,
Tampa.
Orlando.
So we're covering pretty much a large area of the state. Any other questions for them before we go on with the boring stuff? Okay. So there are some resources that I'll make sure that you guys get. There's an employment-related skills resource guide that's put out by Kaiser University, their employment-related skills resource guide. I will be sharing that PDF with you guys when you get your links for the survey. We do have on August 27th coming up, we have Looking Beyond the Pandemic, Ways to Facilitate Growth and Opportunities for Individuals with Disabilities Seeking or Retaining Employment. And this webinar will be put on by the Florida DD Network Collaboration Leadership Development Program cadre members. And they will be doing the presenting, and you guys will have this link in your PDF. On September 21st, we're going to do You Are Not in ESE Land Anymore, What Employers Really Want by VIP Works. And you're going to have two individuals with disabilities who have gone from training into earning real wages and how that has impacted their life and how it's different than what they expected. Helen has put into the chat, she's partnering with Vogue Rehab. That's very good. Brian has put his email address in there for any Tampa area partners, and Helen has done the same. So make sure you guys do that. And then on October 7th, we're going to do a lunch and learn, which will be from noon to 1 p.m. and it's supporting community success through positive supports. And that is basically going to be focusing on the use of ABA therapy in the workplace. You can follow us on social media. And this year, my survey form has gone online. And so I will put that link into the chat in just a second for you guys. When you complete the feedback survey, you will get an email and your certificate will be sent to you. For those who watch the video later, we will also be doing certificates as well. And if you are one who utilizes our on-demand library, there's a new online certificate for that as well, to get your certificates. And let's see, Helen says she's also partnering with the Division of Blind Services. They just toured her fulfillment center in the Orlando area, and they are open to working with all agencies that are interested in hearing about us and helping them fulfill their 7% employment goal for persons with disabilities in the state of Florida. Any other questions or comments? I'm going to put the survey link into the chat for you. I listened last year, and so now the survey is electronic. So if you click that link, it'll take you to a Google form. And you'll also get your certificate electronically as well. If you don't get it, let me know. My contact information is there, and I'll also put it into the chat again for those who may not know. Funds@usf.edu. Now, for those on the line, just for the sake of those at Amazon, would you like to share about a person and if you think they would be a good fit for Amazon abilities?
I want to add something real quick that we didn't cover. Amazon is unique in that we do not interview. So I know interviews is a barrier for a lot of people, especially if they're just like, entering the workforce or not used to the interview process. We have taken that away altogether. So just apply online, pick a shift, come to your appointment, and you'll start working shortly.
Mm-hmm. And Brian, you were saying that the Amazon, the hub, there's going to be like a chat link where they can find out their status, what's going on with their application and all that simply by connecting virtually with you or someone else, correct?
So what the application process is, you're going to set up a profile, and based on your profile, you'll be able to see what step you are in the process. There is a separate website you can go to actually speak to someone. That is amazon.com/application help or amazon.com/candidate support. And both of those will get you linked with our customer service department, and they'll be able to help as much as we can. Pretty much, they see the same things we see. And if you
Okay, thank
go
you.
to a local site, you can call them.
Thank you. And does anyone else have any questions?
How do you, yes, this is Sherry, and how are you guys doing? This is a wonderful program. It seems very promising, and I'm sure that once the information gets out to the different schools where the children are graduating from high school with special needs, and there's no trade programs for children with special needs, they'll probably jump all over your Amazon job situation. But I was wondering, when you hire someone with special needs, do they integrate with the other staff members, or I'm sure you guys don't single them out, but do they have with the supervisor have an expectation for them to be able to keep up with everything just like a person that would not have special needs?
So in my history, I've seen them shared with everyone just normally. Now, as far as the UPT or the units per hour they have to meet, that's where self-identifying really comes in handy, because what will happen is they're not meeting the goal and they haven't put in any accommodations. They can look, the managers can then look up and say, oh, this person self-identified as this or self-identified as that. So it will help them make better decisions about how to handle the candidate or the employee.
Yeah, that's exactly why we encourage self-identification, to avoid any issues like that in the future. We understand, some things are a little bit more difficult for other people, and Amazon does typically have high standards for making rate. Also, there's different positions and different buildings. Like, each building is different. So some of them are easier with lower expectations, and some of them are more difficult with higher expectations. So if somebody is working at a fulfillment center, they're going to be expected to perform at a certain level. If they're working at a Whole Foods, it's more chill. You're just kind of waiting for customer orders to come in, and you kind of mosey around until something is to be done. But even if they were working at a fulfillment center with that accommodation request, or at least that identification of somebody with a special need, we can work towards getting them a set goal that might be more effective for them to be successful. Okay. It's all about speaking up. You own your own career here at Amazon. I've heard it a million times, and I say it a million times. Just speak up for what you need. Self-identify as having a disability, even if it's like invisible PTSD, or like you think you might need some mental health later on down the road. Just put it out there. Like, I think everybody has a disability, if you ask me. But just throw it out there. It's only going to protect you, really.
Okay.
But yes, there's no to answer your original question, there's no singling out as
right.
you asked.
Right. I'm sure that you guys wouldn't have. I'm just was making an inquiry.
Yeah. The only thing that I have seen that maybe single somebody out is like a deaf associate would have a vest that says "I'm deaf" on the back, so that they like other associates or managers know how to address them, so they're not like yelling and they can't hear, so it's just so that we know how to communicate.
Mm-hmm. And Susie said that they work with a number of individuals with various disabilities who would be great candidates, and she'll be checking with the Port St. Lucie place. And she also stated that one of the most important issues is having them fit into the fabric of their employment arena, and that is so true. And we also want to make sure that not only do they fit into the fabric of that employment arena, but those are jobs that they are interested in doing, not us as professionals trying to fit a quota or number or fill a space.
Right.
You'll have longevity on the job if it's something that they desire to do. Even if you have to do some pre-priming, to do that, because they may not know what happens at Amazon. They may not know what the different types of jobs are. But if you prime them by showing videos or doing tours or whatever, they might find something that they're interested in doing there. And that may be more interest to them than working at Publix.
Yeah. That's why I've been trying to do tours with my community partners as much as I can lately. Because of COVID, tours were pretty much off the table. And then for a little bit here, we're bringing small groups, like 5 people max. And I've worked with like the Center for Independent Living, vocational rehab, the Division of Blind Services, trying to bring them in so they can see for themselves exactly what we're all about, how our warehouses are set up, how different people work in our buildings. It's been, I've gotten some positive feedback. So the more that they know, or you guys as community partners know, the better you can speak to your clients about us, and hopefully it works out for everybody involved.
And also part of the application is a video that it by no means shows everything that you can do at Amazon, but it gives you a very basic description of things you'll be doing at different warehouses as well.
Yeah, so when a candidate selects a shift, it'll pop up with a video of that building, of the shift that they had selected. If that looks like it's not for them, they can go back, pick a different shift. If it's at a different building, they'll get a different video. It's like a 90-second little preview video of what it's like in some of our warehouses.
Okay. And Susie asked, do you educate your staff about inclusion?
Absolutely. We have a knowledge network, which everybody had to take a class on inclusion that had to do with Jeff Bezos and everything. I had to take it. People wanted me had to take it as well. That's one of our big pushes this year, is to push inclusion.
Okay. That sounds very promising.
There's other trainings too that we can take that aren't like specifically assigned to us, like on our own accord. We can take other trainings and become part of groups. And
I'm sorry, it's freezing. I can't hear anything.
Oh, sorry. We have other DEI programs that we can like do trainings through and sign up for, like emails, just continuously learning. And there's also CORE is another program that Amazon has for diversity and inclusion. They used to have like in-person like expos for employees to go out and learn. but that's all gone virtual. So it's good that it's virtual, that more people can participate, but I'm personally interested in learning as much as I can.
And just as in case Amazon may want someone to come in and do some disability inclusion and awareness training, FCIC, as well as the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, we can and do provide those services for free.
Excellent, thank you.
And they could be virtual as well. Awesome,
yes, for sure.
Someone asked about natural supports. Do you do you provide the natural supports or train the coworkers to be natural supports for the individuals
I'm not
with disabilities?
Familiar with what that is.
A natural support will be coworkers providing guidance and assistance to the person with a disability on the job site versus having a job coach be there with them for 30 years.
We do have learning ambassadors that are associates that have been trained to train and teach. Each position comes with its own learning curve. I know at our fulfillment centers, the learning curve is probably about 5 weeks on average. Also going back to self-identifying and requesting those accommodations, like if they needed more time, just speak up.
Sounds good. Sounds like you have built-in natural supports.
We have a whole learning team. Each area has learning ambassadors, there's process assistants, there's area managers and above. Like everyone's there to help you be successful. And there's different ways to help them as well. I know we didn't mention it, but like when somebody's picking, like say in an FC, there's a light that shines. So if somebody wasn't sure or whatever, that's one of the accommodations that's already built into our program, that they can pick it just by looking at the light.
Okay. And if someone has a job coach that's working with them to learn how to do jobs, will the what did you call it, the education leaders or
learning ambassadors?
The learning ambassadors, they would show that job to both the Amazon employee and the job coach for those 5 weeks?
If somebody had requested the job coach as an accommodation, the job coach would be there with them, learning, doing everything along with the new associate. Job coaches are more than welcome to come through the hiring process without previously doing the accommodations request. It can just come through. We'll accept it, no problem. But if they're going to be coming on day one as part of the training process, then that would have to be requested through the accommodations team.
Okay. And that would likely be the same if someone had a one-on-one or behavior specialist that was coming to work with them. They'd have to put that into the accommodation request in the application process.
Yes.
Sounds good. Any other questions or comments for Amazon All Abilities? Well, I just want to thank you all. In addition to you, Helen and Brian from Amazon, I want to thank all of those of you who logged in and registered for our first webinar series of the 2021 through 2022 webinar series. I am excited about what we're going to be doing over this next year. And I'm hoping to bring more information like this to you guys. We do have some information for different areas. So as we get it, we'll send stuff out to different areas of initiatives that are going on in the area, because I have 5 others that are in the Tampa area that are doing similar things. So I didn't put them on because they're just for one specific area and they're not statewide. So I just want to let you guys know I have been listening. We're going to show how to turn passions into profit or into careers. We're going to show how the impact of real wages work on the lives of our individuals. We're going to show how to do ABA. We're going to talk about transition. We're going to talk about some of the regular topics, but with a little pizzazz added to them to make them applicable to what's going on right now, post-COVID and in the future. And my goal is that eventually, as you saw on the registration form, some of you may become presenters for me or us in the future. And so I just want to thank you guys for joining us today. I want to offer our presenters a last chance to say any other words And then you guys look out for I'll send the links, even though I put the link into the chat, I'll send the survey link out again to make sure that everyone does it. And I'll also send out the handouts and a copy of the PowerPoint presentation as well in the future. So Helen and Brian, do you guys have any last words you'd like to say?
Sure, definitely. Thank you.
I want to thank you, Denise, for putting this together, and for any potential partners that we have watching currently. We can't wait to work with you and really start to affect our PWD community's positivity.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's increase the employment rate of our persons with disabilities across the state, because if they're happy, we're happy. So thank you all. You guys have a great night, and I look forward to you guys joining us in one of our other future webinars in the future. Take care.
Bye. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
Denise, will you send us the list of the attendees so we can reach out as well?
Yes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I will.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Please visit our website for more information about our programs, projects, and how you can get involved.